Okay, hello ladies and gentlemen, this is the Canadian Greek coming at you with this installment, which is going to be called Economic Collapse and Jade Helm 15. What I've come up with and what I've been researching, you're going to want to see. It's important and it pertains to 2015 this year and next, 2016. Let's begin because I have a lot to get through. We'll start with the Shmita. What is a Shmita year? It is the Sabbath year, Shmita Hebrew, also called the sabbatical year, or Shevit, or Shevit. This is the 7th year of the 7th year agricultural cycle, mandated by the Torah for the land of Israel, and still observed in contemporary Judaism. During Shmita, the land is left to lie fallow, and all agricultural activity, including plowing, planting, pruning, and harvesting, is forbidden by halakha, the Jewish law. Other cultivation techniques such as watering, fertilizing, weeding, spraying, trimming, and mowing may be performed as a preventative measure only, not to improve the growth of trees or other plants. Additionally, any fruits which grow of their own accord are deemed hefker, ownerless, and may be picked by anyone. A variety of laws also apply to the sale, consumption, and disposal of Shmita produce. All debts except those of foreigners are to be remitted. Okay, now that we know what the Shmita year is, let's continue with what this particular blog has to say. Is 2015 the year of Jubilee? Is it the 70th Jubilee? Will the planet be returned to its original creator? Okay, fact 1. Nation of Israel practices Shmita law. Beginning in 1951, agricultural land in Israel is required to remain untilled. Last year of Shmita was 2007. The next year of Shmita begins in September 2014, and actually it began September 21st, 2014, and it goes on to September 21st of 2015. Fact 2. Year of Jubilee happens in 50-year cycles following the 7th year of Shmita. In Jubilee, all debts are supposed to be canceled. All land is supposed to be returned to its original owner. Liberty is proclaimed throughout the land. Interestingly, the Jubilee verse on liberty appears inscribed on a Liberty Bell in Philadelphia. Unfortunately, the state of Israel has yet to recognize a year of Jubilee. Apparently, the wealthy Jews don't want to let go of their financial grip on the poor Jews. Fact 3. 1916 was a year of Shmita. The following year, Jerusalem was liberated from the Turks. Fact 4. 1965 was a year of Shmita, 49 years after the 1916 Shmita. The following year, Jerusalem was re-liberated from the Arabs. This would suggest that both 1916 and 1965 were 7th Shmitas, preceding a year of Jubilee. Liberation is the central theme of Jubilee. This would suggest that 2015 will be the next Jubilee, which is this year. Fact 5. We are currently in the 70th Jubilee cycle since the very first Jubilee, which occurred when Joshua led the children of Israel to the Promised Land and liberated it from the Canaanites. The beginning of that liberation was heralded as the blowing of the Yobel ram horns. The word Jubilee comes from Yobel. At the blowing of the 7th trumpet, the walls of Jericho collapsed. Fact 6. The book of Revelation speaks of 7 trumpets blown by angels, heralding the transfer of ownership of the whole planet Earth. The kingdoms of this world have become the kingdoms of Christ, announces the angel. I would suggest the book of Revelation describes a scenario in which the whole planet is liberated from the clutches of Satan and his Antichrist, and is global liberation. Okay, fact 7. 70 is the prophetic number Daniel prophet spoke of 77s and must be fulfilled in order for redemption to come. Jeremiah the prophet spoke of 70 years of judgment in which Israel would be enslaved to Babylon. The enslavement, by the way, occurred because Israel did not keep the statutes of the Jubilee. The noble class would not let the serfs go free. Therefore, the nobles were enslaved to their own worst enemy, Babylon. I would suggest that the 70th Jubilee is extra significant in the real estate of the whole planet will be returned to its original owner, the Creator. 2015 could be the year. So what happens before then? Jesus said that there would be a time of great tribulation worse than any other time in history. Don't think Satan is going to be nice about giving back the planet to the Creator. This will be World War III. Jesus referred to Daniel's prophecies about this time. Daniel said this time would be for 1260 days or 3.5 years. The book of Revelation concurs with this, referring to 42 months as the time of the great struggle, great tribulation. If 2015 is the year of Jubilee, beginning in September of that year, which is this year, then the beginning of the Great Tribulation would be 1260 days prior to that, which is the Passover season in April 2012. What event kicks off the Great Tribulation? Jesus said it would be the abomination that causes desolation. Jerusalem is once again captured by the Arabs. Jesus says that those who live in Judea should run for the hills or flee to the hills. Get out as fast as possible. Could the events in Egypt be the beginnings of a huge Arab uprising regionally that results in the abomination? Time will tell. Now, the reason I read this, along with the Shmita, okay, 2015 is a Shmita year. The Shmita began in September 21st of 2014, and it goes right through to September 21st of this year, 2015. Now, why is that? Why do I find that significant? The previous Shmita year, by the way, was 2007-2008. Okay, and what happened during the last Shmita year? Financial crisis of 2007 and 8. The financial crisis of 2007 and 8, also known as the global financial crisis, the 2008 financial crisis, is considered by many economists to have been the worst financial crisis since the Great Depression of the 1930s. It threatened the total collapse of large financial institutions, which was prevented by the bailout of banks, by national governments, but stock markets still dropped worldwide. In many areas, the housing market also suffered, resulting in evictions, foreclosures, and prolonged unemployment. The crisis played a significant role in the failure of key businesses, declines in consumer wealth estimated in trillions of US dollars, and a downturn in economic activity leading to the 2008 to 2012 global recession, and contributing to the European sovereign debt crisis, which is what pretty much plunged Greece into the state that it is right now, but I won't get into that at this point. The active phase of the crisis, which manifested as a liquidity crisis, can be dated from August 9, 2007, when BNP Paribas terminated withdrawals from 3 hedge funds, citing a complete evaporation of liquidity. Okay, so 2007 and 2008 was the last Shmita year, and there was a financial crisis and a serious drop of the markets on that year. Okay, during the last Shmita year. What was the Shmita year prior to this one? Well, that would have to be 2001. Okay. Stock market downturn of 2002. Now, the stock market downturn of 2002, Some say stock market crash or the internet bubble bursting is a sharp drop in stock prices during 2002 in stock markets across the United States, Canada, Asia, and Europe. Okay, after recovering from lows reached following the September 11 attacks, indices slid steadily starting in March 2002, with dramatic declines in July and September, leading to lows that reached in 97.98. Okay, the dollar declined steadily against the euro, reaching a 1-to-1 valuation not seen since the euro's introduction. Okay, now the Shmita year was 2001 and ended in September of 2001, and then just months after this happened. That was the last Shmita year, or last Shmita year was 2007 and 8. This was the previous one. Now, why is that important? Because 2015 is also a Shmita year, this year right now, and it ends on September the 21st of 2015, and I think that it is tied together with Jade Helm 15 because that's what they're preparing for. Okay, Jade Helm 15 is the government's way of preparing for the unrest, for the public unrest once the economy collapses, and that's going to be global, and I'm going to get into that a little bit in just a second. Now, let's have a look at something about Jade Helm 15. I think it's important that people understand. What is Jade Helm 15? Well, first we'll start with this. Okay, and I'm going to leave links to all this stuff. Okay, what is Jade Helm? Okay, Jade Helm is a challenging 8-week joint military and interagency unconventional warfare UW exercise conducted throughout Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, California, Nevada, Utah, and Colorado. Jade Helm is a U.S. Special Operations Command U.S. SOCOM sponsored exercise to improve the Special Operations Forces UW unconventional warfare capability as part of the national security strategy. Now, why would national security strategy entail unconventional warfare? What is unconventional warfare? Now let's have a look at this for a second, and we'll come back to that. It may be hard to believe, but the United States deployed 2 distinct army forces into combat after September 11, 2001. As one analyst mused, conventional forces, CF, prepared to win against traditional adversaries in direct combat, with special operations forces prepared to prevail in irregular environment. Okay, what's an irregular environment? It's unconventional warfare. Conventional warfare is when you have one army standing against another army. Everybody's in uniform, tanks versus tanks, soldiers versus soldiers. Unconventional warfare is when you're trained to take on insurgents, when you're trained to infiltrate populations covertly. Okay. Now, back to this. Jade Helm 15 will run from 15th of July through 15th September of 2015. Now remember, the Shmita year ends on the 21st of September of 2015. Let's go down a little bit further. Participants, okay, we don't really want to see that. This is interesting, but I'm not going to get into it right now. Why Texas? The United States Special Operations Command, U.S. SOCOM, has conducted numerous exercises in Texas because Texans are historically supportive of efforts to prepare our soldiers, airmen, Marines, and sailors to fight the enemies of the United States. Okay, I'm out of time here, so I'm going to have to come back to this in just a minute in part 2 of this series, I guess. It's going to be a 2-part video. This is a Canadian Greek. I'm out for now.